Hello everyone, I'm Hutan, this is Wook. Today is June 20th, 2022. We're gonna talk about what we're seeing on the ground in Toronto's and real estate market. So let's get to it. In terms of the sales activities, we're seeing the GTA low-rise homes are trending down. Our almost sales are dropping 50%. Wook, what do you think? What's happening here?
People are deciding not to sell. I mean, prices are kind of on a downward trend, and they're
not to buy, right?
They're not moving. They're just kind of saying, you know what, I don't want to do anything. I want to wait. I want to see what's going to happen. We're getting that from our clients. People still do need to sell, but I think if you don't need to, you're deciding not to. And if you have your pre-approval, you're already ready to go, but you're thinking, if I wait another 2 weeks with a potential another interest rate hike and I can get my property for less, I'm going to wait for that. So it's a very it's like a stagnation basically that's happening in the market.
Yeah.
People are kind of, it's like deer in the headlights. All this stuff has happened in such a quick period of time that people are caught off guard. They're like, I don't know what I should do. I don't know if I should sell. I don't know if I should buy.
I mean, you look at just what's happening right now. We've just came out of pandemic, a 100-year event.
Yeah.
We've had, after 80 years, we had a war in Europe, which is pushing the inflation up.
Yeah, the largest war there.
Largest interest rate hike since 1990, which is another 30 years. And highest inflation numbers since 70s, 40, 50 years. So these all things are happening at the same time. Plus it's summertime, the weather's nice. Historically, it's a slow time of the year.
Exactly.
So no wonder we're seeing sales activities are dropping like crazy.
I mean, not even just activity, not even just the sales, but the showings. Showings are down dramatically. People just aren't even going out anymore. Open houses, we're hearing from other colleagues in the office, 1 or 2 people showing up all weekend. So it's just, it's a very slow period of time. Yeah. It gives us the opportunity to do things like this for you guys. So,
exactly.
We're telling you what's happening, boots on the ground.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that's happening is rent prices are shooting up high. We've had one bedroom, this is the data from rental.ca. We had one bedroom, 3.3% month over month increase. This is Toronto. 15.7% year over year increase. 2-bed, 5.4% month over month, and 21% year over year increase.
I mean, those are important. Those are important numbers to consider, because if you look at the Residential Tenancies Act, the allowable rent increase yearly is 2%.
Less than 2%.
Less than 2%.
1.7, 1.8%.
Exactly. For last year.
Yeah.
We're seeing that in a month. Why do we think this is happening? Well, I mean, number one, it could be because the people that aren't buying are now renting, because you always need a place to live. So, if the activity is being taken out of here, it kind of makes sense that it's going into this market. The other thing is, maybe a lot of people are deciding, look, pandemic's over, I'm done with all that, I can move back into the city.
Downtown Toronto's back.
Yeah.
Try to book a restaurant this weekend in downtown Toronto. Everything's booked.
Yeah.
You gotta reserve a restaurant, book a restaurant in couple of weeks in advance.
Yep.
It's summertime. I mean, they haven't heard about a recession yet, but everyone's enjoying their time. They want to be back in the city. They want to enjoy, and a lot of offices are asking people to come back. So again, combination of multiple things happening at the same time.
But it's important.
It's
important to remember, and this is why we like real estate so much, is because you have to live somewhere, and so as an investor, you're either buying and selling, or you're buying and holding. So if now is not a good time to sell, don't sell. Just lease it out, rent it out. Again, that's something that you got to talk to your real estate professional about. Do you want to freeze up a property with a tenant for a year? Because you don't really want to sell it. We've seen this. You don't really want to sell it with a tenant. It's not going to look as well. It's not going to show as well.
It's hard to sell a property when there is tenant.
It's very much case by case. It's very dependent. It's very dependent on the area, the neighborhood.
Exactly.
That's happening with that.
MOI, our favorite market indicator. We're seeing the condos MOI is rising, right? A little bit more than rise, but across the board, in GTA, in Ontario, as a matter of fact, all type of properties, MOI is increasing. right? Month of inventory is increasing, shifting us to more like a balance. Some areas a buyer's market.
Severe buyer's market.
Severe buyer market.
6
Like
months.
we just kind of looked at an area that I had a listing or you had a listing, and
Yeah.
then it's 6 months. 6 months of inventory.
Yeah.
We've never had that for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Usually we were like under 2 months. During
Yeah.
the peak we were under 2 months.
And this requires like some adjustment from market participants as well, because we all got used to selling a property in a week, 2 weeks.
Yes.
You know, getting 10 showings in the first 3 days, whereas now we have to readjust our expectations, go back to where we once were, and say, look, Mr. Seller, your property is going to take 35, 45, 60 days, maybe 90 days in some
Yes.
cases. That's totally fine. It's totally acceptable that it takes that long for the
new
right
market
person to come up.
environment.
It's-
These are
exactly.
the new market environments,
Exactly.
and we got to get used to it. It's gonna take us a while until we get back to what we had.
Exactly.
The other thing is listings, right? The new listings are trending down, which is, again, we talked about it. People just don't want to sell.
Readjusting,
right?
yeah.
They're
They're just
readjusting.
stepping
They
back,
say,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm not gonna take a $500,000 pay cut on my property. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna live in it, right?" Sure,
But
I wanted a bigger
realistically,
space.
if you think about it, like, you know, that $500,000, let's say that property appreciated 50% year over year last year. It's not realistic,
No.
right? That was driven
Exactly.
by that market froth, by that excess. So that readjustment back to a price that's more relative to market trends and market demands is totally fine, but some people don't want to accept it. And so they might hold off for longer than they need to. Again, let's talk about what is a realistic price for the property.
And it's case by case, right? If you're a seller, it's a lot more important right now to market your house perfectly, because as we see, only like the top properties in like the top neighborhoods, the most popular neighborhoods are moving. Everything else is sitting on the market. It's taking longer to sell. Have it as a vacant. Do the renovation if you have to.
Yeah.
Paint the wall.
Yeah.
Fix the cabinets.
Yeah.
Be flexible in showings, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think anecdotally, if the property looks good, if it's relatively modern, so, you know, like everything is functional, it's move-in ready, it's vacant, it's in a good location in terms of, you know, just general access to amenities, access to transit. Those properties are still selling, and they're selling for good
Decent price.
prices,
They're
decent
holding
prices,
their value.
but they're taking 35, 40 days to sell. Not
Exactly.
in a week or 2 weeks. And so the people that don't know what they own, and the agents that don't know what they're doing, and they panic and they drop the price too quickly, somebody's taking that. Somebody is definitely buying it at that lower price, and they're getting a good deal. Had that person maybe waited a little bit longer, spent a little bit more time, you know, speaking and reaching out to agents, getting feedback, understanding, okay, where is the demand currently? There's, you know, we can still sell properties at good prices, but like I said, it's a different environment, it's
Exactly.
a different strategy, and
Yeah.
we got to know what we're doing.
Exactly. Things are changing.
Yep.
Things are changing fast. Okay, let's talk about what's next. What are we gonna see in this crazy market? Exactly, right? Great, another rate
We're
hike.
having another one. It's coming. We know
It's
it's coming
coming.
because the Fed just did it.
The Fed
75
raised it
basis
by
points.
75 basis points
What, like a week ago?
a week ago.
We know
And
we follow them.
we follow them. And then Jerome Powell in his interview after, he said right now US is at between 1.5 to 1.6. They want to see it over 3. So that's 100% increase in rate
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
probably like the next 6 months we will see. So
You know what that's going to do. I mean, just it's
gonna
if you
break
just think
something.
logically, if you think logically, if it's already done, if the last whatever, how many points have we gone up? One,
we gone
100
up,
basis
we
points.
gone up close
So
to
far.
100 basis.
Yeah, we've gone up 100 basis
100 or 125, I think.
Yeah,
125.
125.
Basis,
Yeah,
125 basis points.
We're going to go up another 150. So we've seen this slowdown happen with one. What do you think is going to happen with 150?
I mean, everything is down, right? We have stock market is down, cryptocurrency is down, bond market's down. There's no safe haven.
Yeah.
Real estate's down.
It's the largest wealth destruction that I think we've seen in
So
decades.
and we're definitely in unprecedented times, right? That we just came out of the unprecedented times of pandemic.
Yeah.
Now we're entering into this era. There is one positive news.
One silver
One
lining.
positive
One
news.
silver lining.
What is it? What is the potential bank rule change? Vuk, tell us.
If you know if the rate hikes continue at the pace that they're going, I think the government understands that it's going to have a significant impact on real estate. We know real estate is a massive component of the Canadian GDP. We were speaking with a couple different bank professionals, mortgage specialists, understanding what their managers and what their kind of upper management is saying, and they don't want the market to crash. They can't handle the market crashing.
Exactly.
They definitely cannot stand a market crash in specifically in Canada, and definitely not in Toronto.
And banks are in the business of lending money. So
Exactly.
once they see sales are dropping 50%, nobody wants to get new applications. Just like our mortgage broker friends, we talk to them. Their application, new rate of application has been dropping very quickly, and that's concerning to banks, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're just in the business of lending money. They're not a landlord. They don't want to own the property. They don't want to sell the property. They just want to lend you the money. That's it. That's what they're in for, right?
And what happens in a market crash? People give their keys up and say, I don't want to pay my mortgage anymore. And then what does the bank do? Then the bank has all these properties on their hand, and that money that they lent out, they'll never get back. You think they want that? Absolutely not. So we think there's some bank rule changes on the horizon potentially,
like changing the amortization. Right now, for uninsured mortgages, you have a 30-year amortization, which means it's gonna take you 30 years. Your monthly payment calculation is calculated based on the 30-year payout, right?
Exactly.
So now what they're gonna do is they're gonna increase it to maybe 35 or 40. Potentially. We don't know.
Yeah.
We hope so.
We hope for everybody's sake, because we're all investing. We're all investors.
Everybody is in pain,
Yeah.
right? So 35, 40 years, then maybe that offsets that 100% increase of interest rate.
Exactly.
Maybe that'll ease people's payment, and then it'll help everybody, right?
I mean, we know
don't
what they're trying to do with this number, right? This rate hike, they're trying to tame inflation.
Yes.
Inflation was not tamed the last time around. At least the U.S. did it. So inflation is still on the rise, and that's why you have this kind of hawkish attitude towards, okay, we're not going to stop until we see that number coming down. I feel like everything that's happened in the last month, in addition to this next rate hike, we're probably more than likely going to see that number come down, which might change the narrative a little bit. We'll see. We kind of expect that to happen because it's really difficult to see this rate hike, velocity or the slope of that increase continuing the way that it is, because it's having such a massive impact on the overall real estate market, which typically here in the GTA or in Canada is pretty. It's
gonna have some impact, and then politicians gonna talk about it, and we'll see. Our job is right now to just tell you what we're seeing on the ground, what we're hearing when we're talking with our colleagues, how's our showings doing, our listings doing, the rental market, investment properties, all that stuff. So we'll bring you everything. So you know
what else we can do? We can throw up some of our listings, like in the video at the end.
Yeah.
Because we've got some really nice properties. Like you've got a really cool one in Scarborough.
Yeah.
Amazing investment property.
Yeah.
For somebody who's looking for cash flow in the future, the acquisition price is 30% below what it was in February.
Below what it was in February. Yeah.
It's a great deal.
It is.
I've got an amazing
and you got a couple of nice condos
in
coming up. We got another listing in Hamilton for somebody that is an investor, a beautiful property in a very good neighborhood.
Like a property that people are tripping themselves over to get into at a higher price, now don't even want to go and look at it at this price. It just tells you that the psychology, the buyer or investor psychology, it's never kind of in the middle. It always swings from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
And we've gone from extreme buyer demand to extreme buyer exhaustion or whatever you want to call
it. And now, it's like seller's demand. They want to just sell. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Yeah, that's the update for June.
We'll give you more videos in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.